Welcome to HD Nation, your guide to the best in HD content and the best in home theater gear, no matter what your budget is. I'm Patrick Norton.
Hey, and I'm Robert Herron.
And I am way too excited today because we have a ton of awesome stuff and a lot of really good viewer questions. Over on YouTube, Omar7222 says, where do I go to get great deals on HD TVs?
Hey, I'll show you one good shop to take a look at right off the bat. A company called Seiki Digital. We've showed off their 4K television that was one of the most affordable made. And the thing I like about this company is that they offer a lot of televisions that basically sacrifice, not even sacrifice really, but they get rid of the features.
They don't care about applications. They don't care about extra features. They give you a screen. They give you the best processing they can give you for that screen at the price point. And the rest of it, buy a freaking Apple TV or a Roku box and move on.
Take the devices you already probably have and put them to good work. So Seiki Digital for just a good name brand that is low cost also. The deal's over at Woot. Now, factory refurbished gear, sometimes you're going to find it on sites like Woot. Sometimes they have just new stuff that they're just trying to get rid of. But either way, if you see something on here, even if it's refurbished, I would take a chance if it's really something you want and the price is right.
That's where my sub $700 projector came from.
Very, very cool. Another great site too, if you are the online shopper, is Camel. Great for tracking prices. You can get an alert when that TV you are looking for or lusting after eventually goes on sale. I threw in this one particular Sharp 4K model, and the thing I really liked was that it gives me the pricing over time, so I can see what the current trend is.
I have two more things we want to point out.
All right.
Both Robert and I are members of Costco, and Costco is not only a great place to get a TV, you're not going to deal with shipping costs. It's going to be local. You can return it within 90 days if you don't like it. They no longer have the lifetime return that Costco used to do. Well, they still do it everything else, just not the consumer electronics.
They double the manufacturer's warranty as well, which is really nice. So if it had a 1-year warranty, it's got a 2-year warranty, and you're dealing local again with a good company. That's always a good plus.
That takes care of its employees, and the prices are really, really good. And Amazon.com, you may be thinking like, I don't want to ship a $3,000 or even a $500 or even a $400 HDTV, but Amazon has an excellent history of shipping things. The returns are easy if it doesn't work out for you, and the prices are usually outstanding.
Totally. And always, if you want to take a little bit of an increased risk, check out Craigslist. You are, again, going to be buying locally. You can then sort for, occasionally just the HDTVs you're looking for. There are occasionally great deals in there, but also a lot of iffy stuff too. And it's something where, you can be haggling over the price, but it's up to you then to make sure you are exactly buying what it is you want.
Don't pay $700 for a 3-year-old 50-inch flat panel when you can buy a new flat panel for $700. I'm just saying. If they won't let you plug it in when you go to the person's house, don't buy it. If they tell you, it only flickers once in a while, don't buy it. But seriously, and if they hand you a box and say, look, the box is still sealed, they gave it to me at work, it's full of bricks. Don't buy it. No. I love Craigslist.
When I sold my TV, I did it through Craigslist, my old TV. I had it actually running so that when the people showed up, they could take a look at it, play with it, do whatever, and then they could just get it out of my life once and for all at a good price. So that's pretty cool.
I love Craigslist. Rich writes in, Patrick, Robert, what's your latest recommendation for a 1080p HDMI projector? I'm buying 3 of them for my son's school, and I'd like to get them something good at the right price. Thanks, Rich. Yeah, 3 projectors, I would want to get a good price.
Definitely.
Also, on behalf of the other parents at your school, I would like to thank you. And also, I'd like to ask where the delete expletive tax revenue for your school is going. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Totally. Hey, my first stop for any projector shopping scenario is going to be projectorcentral.com. It is a great resource of not only reviews, but comparison information and setup tools like their awesome calculator. This is basically giving me a list of home theater projectors covering lots of options and budgets. Now, if you need to save a little more money, you can always go with a lower resolution projector. A 720p projector generally costs less than a 1080p projector. Also, there are some upcoming technologies related to the lamp modules that are in these projectors, how it makes light. Actually, LG has their new laser projector, laser-based, the LG Hecto. And they've actually shown off the new Hecto 2 at CES in January, which is going to basically get the resolution up to 4K and increase the light output. An expensive option. You're probably not buying 3 of those, but this is just to remind you that there are things other than lamp bulbs, though, that can burn out right away. These are supposed to and designed to last for thousands of hours. Usually they're quoting about 20,000 hours
I
in
was
particular.
tens of thousands of hours, because like my current lamp's supposed to last me 2,000. It's close to 3. But it dims over time, and that's actually a big deal. If you're shopping for a new projector, if they don't have curtains, if they have a lot of windows in those classrooms, they don't have curtains, you need a very, very bright projector, or you need to get them curtains.
Without a doubt.
You also need to get something to mount it on. If it's going to be ceiling mounted, which means running power to it. If it's going to be on a desk, that's great. But you also need something to project it onto. A white wall will work fantastically. Just remember that most of the screens available in schools are back on the 4x3 days, so that can be a little frustrating.
That is true. And also, too, when we're talking about long life lamp modules, if you're looking for just long life, there's also LED options, too. Optoma introduced an LED-based home theater projector. Yeah. And recently, and there's been other options for this as well, but this new Panasonic projector actually is a hybrid design where it uses red LEDs, blue LEDs, plus a green laser to create the white light output. Again, they're going for their high usage in terms of extra brightness and longevity. And also, just in terms of how you're going to be using this, you mentioned the room for teaching environments. Think about also, is it going to be a gaming scenario or maybe watching movies or TV? Are you going to need to hear audio? And with all that in mind, I went and picked out a good low-cost projector specifically for the scenario we're talking about in terms of using it in a classroom. This Acer H6510 or 510BD projector, excuse me. What jumped out from this particular model for me was its overall brightness. They're talking 3,000 ANSI lumens maximum. Real world, you're getting about 2,500 out of this thing, which is quite a bit. And its cost under $750 online, and it has a built-in mono speaker as well, so that if you need just basic audio, you want to be able to hear whatever it is that you're projecting, this has a speaker built right in, so you don't have to deal with additional audio.
That is a fantastic price for that projector.
Especially for 1080p projection technology with the extra brightness. Don't mention to the kids that it has 3D built in, otherwise they probably want a demo of that.
Can I bring in my PlayStation?
Of course. But the 3D stuff, that's probably going to bump the cost up because of the way it works with projectors in general, with the wireless glass technology and other things.
3D's dead.
But that 3D technology also, it basically gives you the idea that it's going to be an extra bright projector as well, which I think would be important for a classroom.
That's probably, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 or 50% brighter than my projector. That would be good.
Pair that with the right screen and you could just about leave the curtains open if you had to.
And by 4,000 lumens, you're golden even with the curtains open? Or
4,000 is going to be bright, and I doubt you're going to find a value projector in that brightness level. But yeah, that would be extra, extra bright, especially if you're using it with a reflective screen of any kind, something with a higher gain rating than, say, 1.0.
So 1,000 to 2,000 lumens, pull the curtains, 2,000 to 3,000 lumens. If you've got a decent screen and it's not too bright, you might be able to get by without curtains. 3,000 lumens and above, leave the curtains open.
And for doing these estimates, too, I mentioned earlier the projection calculator that Projector Central offers. And again, look up your projector that you're thinking of buying, especially when you get down in here in terms of the overall brightness. Adjust the screen size. If you can go with a smaller screen generally, you'll get a brighter image. So if I move this down to, say, a 120-inch screen, you can see that all the sliders are moving up into the sections that indicate that the projector is going to be great with lots of ambient light. And you can also get an idea, too, of what the throw distance will be for where you can place the projector in the room. And another reason I went with this particular projector was that the Acer offers a pretty flexible distance in terms of how far away you can have it from the screen. So it gives you more options in terms of placement in the classroom. So for that and the price point, and it's a name brand, I think you'll be pretty good to go with something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Rick writes in, are there any Blu-ray players with an RF remote that are cheaper than a PlayStation 3? Rick's in Des Moines, Iowa. And that's a tough one. RF, like, you know, the Roku 3 has an RF remote.
Nice. I love it.
And what else has an RF remote?
PlayStation 3 has its built-in Bluetooth remote.
And?
What else?
That's about it.
Yeah, well, I'd say the dish boxes, too. Right. The dish satellite boxes are RF remotes.
No Blu-ray. Actually, no Blu-ray player in the Roku 3
Blu-ray is the big deal, though. And besides that PlayStation 3, one thing you could do is pretty much take any of your favorite Blu-ray players and add a Harmony remote to it. Yeah. In particular, they have new Harmony Ultimate Hub. This doesn't actually include a remote. It uses your smartphone with the puck, and it will control your hub via connection. Your phone talks to the hub talks to the player. Life is good. Now, for about $30 more, you can get it with a remote control, a basic remote control that comes with the hub as well, and that would be called the Smart Control as well. Now, if you're looking for just a solid, low-cost Blu-ray player with infrared control built-in, infrared, the Sony's S5100 is still my pick right now. It is $80 online, even under that, and not only is it affordable, but it is also among the very best at up-converting DVD videos to 1080p resolution. Some new players, that seems to be the feature they're skipping nowadays in terms of how they can cut costs on Blu-ray players doing DVD up-conversion. Sony seems to be well focused on that and ensuring that even your older movies are going to look good when they're scaled up as well.
One last thing to think about, if you haven't seen them, what they call IR blasters or IR injectors. Before I moved everything back over to an RF Harmony Universal, I had a lot of good luck with Sewell's Blast IR and Sewell's IR injector type stuff. Essentially, you plug in, the simplest one they have, there's basically two little HDMI dongles. One goes in your HDTV, the other one goes wherever your equipment's located, like in the back of your AVR. Brings an IR blaster and actually take, so basically there's one by the screen, there's one by the back, wherever the hidden stuff is, and it takes advantage of the HDMI cable to send that signal, the IR signal, over the HDMI cable and into the room where your equipment is. Really cool thing about that is it was actually, I had the cable, the receiver, the Sewell receiver was up on my projector, and I was able to point at the wall, and it was basically getting the IR back up on basically across the wall, back up on the projector, and then sending it to the closet with all the AV gear in it. Those are available for $15 to $30 if you go with no brand, $30 to $50 from Sewell.
I thought the lag is really low on those products too. I mean, in terms of when you hit the button, in terms of when it actually responds on screen. So if you're thinking about adding one of these products and worrying about, I'm going to add like a couple seconds in delay just changing channels, probably not. At least in terms of the IR repeaters and products like the Harmony remote.
Here it is. Sewell Direct. .com actually has a pretty crazy collection of stuff in there.
I love their audio plugs. I buy a lot of actually connectors for speaker wire and things like that from Sewell.
They do a lot of really good stuff.
I love it. I love it. Hey, at Nova Yankee asks, at Robert Heron, any idea how I would safely clean crayon off the screen of my Samsung UN55 D8000 LCD television?
Non-abrasive cleansers.
Oh my.
Being gentle, hoping that it's near the edge of the screen where it won't be as noticeable. Oh, you have children.
Man.
Two popular methods of removing crayon from the surface of an LCD, and I'm going to call these relatively universal despite the fact that the proprietary layers and chemistry that are sprayed on the front. Basically, so in HDTV's layers, there's like the screen, there's a bunch of filters, there's probably a Fresnel lens, and then there's like whatever their super cool coatings are there on the exterior screen. You need soft cloths, soft, clean cloths, preferably that have never been used for anything and never been anywhere near sand or dust, because there's nothing sadder than seeing someone go to clean their screen. This happened in my office once, and they were like, and they basically had a bit of sand in their cleaning cloth, and they scraped a big old gouge all the way from across of their literally brand new 24-inch monitor. So, clean, fresh towels. Two options. There's a Monster fluid that a lot of people like, the Screen Clean product. Also, people use WD-40 or white vinegar.
Yeah, between one of those three, really.
Vinegar, by the way, is an amazing cleaning fluid.
It really is. And in a follow-up conversation with Nova Yankee, he revealed, though, that the manufacturer actually recommended the Screen Clean product with a lint-free cloth. And, quote, for the most part, it worked. So I'd be curious to know, though, from the HD Nation audience, how have you successfully removed a bad-looking mess from your HDTV screen, be it crayon or something else that was
diluted rubbing alcohol?
Just didn't wipe right off.
Well, part of it's right is don't let it sit for a long time, because one of the nightmares is if there's any kind of pores in that screen surface and they've managed to gouge it in there, it's easier to get soft, fresh peanut butter out of pores than it is to get hardened peanut butter out.
I'm more worried about crayon than peanut butter, but either way, if you have an answer to this question that works for you really well, email us at hdnation@revision3.com.
Got a couple of kids? You want to get a little videotape before maybe you sell them on eBay because they've been causing havoc on your electronics? You can actually get the most out of it. You should take a look at lynda.com. They're our sponsor. They're an incredible resource. I know you like watching video because, hey, you're watching HD Nation. And I mentioned DSLRs because they have a fantastic in-depth course on using and choosing the right camera for your video needs. Lynda.com is amazing. They have courses to learn just about any professional tool. Go to lynda.com/HDNation. You'll get a 7-day free trial. You'll be supporting the show, keeping the show coming to you, and we appreciate that. While we're on our sort of like violence and injury to television theme,
yeah,
Mr. Heron would like to talk about
safety. and flat panel televisions.
The 100,000 people who have suffered an injury, quote, related to TV instability.
I was shocked by that stat. Apparently, over the last few years, over 100,000 people have suffered injury related to TV instability.
Hold on. This is
and
like
I'm
120 million.
Not to add to this statistic at all. And it's as simple as basically securing that floppy flat panel TV. And it's not difficult to do.
1 in 1,200.
There's a chance. Also, this is really just a way to also further protect that investment while keeping the wee ones safe. That's really what it comes down to. There's a great website called tvsafety.org that is, well, they're basically saying don't mess around with TV safety. And the best way to secure an HDTV from tipping over, of course, I'm going to say always, is wall mount that sucker. Now, this site was actually created by the good folks over at Sanus, who make a lot of wall mount products. And curiously enough, Sanus is encouraging you to really wall mount that TV to keep it as safe as possible.
Did you know every 3 weeks a child is killed from a tipping TV? Learn more below. Now that's a little dramatic, but if you've ever seen your beloved child start doing chin-ups on your HDTV, you'll be really glad you used the big hardware and the 300-pound or 200-pound rated wall mount over the 50-pound rated wall mount that was just big enough to hold the TV.
Without a doubt.
I tend to go, if there's children in the house or if you have intoxicated friends that like to lean on things, go with the super overbuilt mounts. You'll thank me for that.
Totally. And you know what? Yes, a good Sanus wall mount can save the day. However, they also have terrific strap products too that are, if you don't plan on doing a wall mount, these are great options as well. And they can be had for starting at 15 bucks. Also, this is a good DIY project if you're at all handy. Things like eye screws, a little paracord, and the ubiquitous M8 with the 1.25 threads will fit just about every flat panel television I've ever looked at in terms of the mount holes on the back of the set. So just picking up a little hardware and screwing it into the wall to prevent it from tipping over.
Screw it into the studs is even better.
You have to. Yeah. Don't just think that you can screw into some drywall and expect it to hold an 80-pound TV from flying across the room.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Like Robert mentioned Sanus because they brought our attention to these horrendous statistics. But if you go up to Amazon.com, take a look at the wall mounts there. You know, there's a whole lot of places you can mount something like this onto your wall. Use all of the screw holes. Use the heaviest mount you can pick up at your big box store. If you can't screw into a stud, and you probably can if you work at it, you know, figure out a superior, you know, drywall or concrete or whatever your walls are made of mounting. There's a lot of amazing new products out there that will actually get you 50 to 100 to 200 pounds, even at a sheetrock, because they're big old crazy things that expand inside and behind the sheetrock. Just do your homework, mount it really, 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 really well.
Yeah, and if you're dealing with wood stud construction, it's about as easy of a project as it gets.
Yeah.
Just a matter of drilling the holes and screwing in the fasteners and hanging the TV in a really safe, secure way. And like I said, if not, you have good, affordable strapping options as well, and DIY is written all over this in terms of doing it yourself, so all good. Hey, Sam writes in, the Netflix clip you showed is not capped at 720p. Netflix browser playback is capped at 720p. I did not know this. If you pulled it up on a Chromecast or other Super HD compatible device, the bitrate would rise much higher. I found it was useful for checking how best to position my router. Sam in Wisconsin.
I'm ashamed.
I get it now, but yeah, I didn't think about it at the time.
Mea culpa. If you didn't see the show last week, I was talking about the example short 23.976 video. If you search for that on Netflix, you get this really cool video that tells you what your speed is. You can watch it sort of accelerate as the handshake process gets done, and it gives you all the information in the player on the screen you're looking at. This is not to be confused with the example short 24, which gives you none of that information. And yeah, I pulled it out of my browser and engaged that thought that it was only going up to 720p before I engaged my brain. Sam, thank you for the correction. You got something to say to us, you got a product you want us to review, you got a question you want us to answer, do us a favor. Well, actually, if you're on YouTube, comment down below on YouTube, email us hdnation@revision3.com, or tweet at hdnation.
Yes, people, we want your comments, your questions, and your suggestions. And like Pat said, post it right down below if you don't want to email us or tweet us. And until next time, thank you for watching.
And subscribe.
Yeah.
Revision3.com/hdnation, youtube.com/hdnation.
Get your HD on.
Thank you.